The Filiba safety socket is the new generation of home electrical sockets. This socket ensures maximum protection against electric shock, prevents dangerous overheating, and prevents the possibility of the socket being pulled out of the wall when trying to extract the plug from the socket. These unique qualities are possible thanks to a special safety mechanism which prevents electricity from flowing through the plug until it is lightly swiveled after being fully inserted into the socket. Up to now, in standard sockets, the electrical contact occurs immediately upon insertion of the plug into a socket. The Filiba safety socket ensures that the electrical contact occurs only after complete insertion of the plug into the socket and a 30-degree swivel of the plug. The benefits of the Filiba safety socket, as compared with standard sockets, are considerable. It prevents electric shock or electrocution. In a standard socket, if a nail or any other metal object is inserted into one of the holes of the socket, there is a grave danger of electric shock or electrocution. The Filiba safety socket would not enable any electrical contact if a metal object were to be inserted into one of the holes of the socket, because the mechanism of the socket would not permit the plug to be swiveled without full insertion of the pins. It is possible to swivel the plug only when at least 2 pins of the plug are completely inserted into the socket. A further advantage of the Filiba safety socket, as compared with a standard one, is the avoidance of overheating. In using a standard everyday socket, even if the plug is only partially inserted, there is still electrical contact, and as this contact is partial, it may cause overheating, melting of the plug and socket, and even fires. On the other hand, with the Filiba safety socket, swiveling the plug in order to enable the electrical contact cannot take place until the plug is completely inserted into the socket. Without full insertion, no electricity will flow and there will be no dangerous overheating. A further advantage of the Filiba safety socket is the avoidance of situations common to standard sockets, where the socket may be pulled out of the wall when the plug is withdrawn from the socket. In a standard socket, extracting the plug requires effort, which sometimes causes the entire socket to be pulled out of the wall, thereby causing a fuse. In order to prevent this, it is usually necessary to use 2 hands, one holding the socket and the other extracting the plug. With the Filiba safety socket, only when the plug is swiveled back can the plug be easily and smoothly extracted from the socket, thereby preventing the danger of tearing out the socket from the wall. However, in case of an emergency, it's possible to remove the plug from the socket directly and without swiveling it, but this would involve the same dangers as are inherent in the standard plugs. In such case, the socket will simply return to its beginning status and will enable reinsertion of the plug. The Filiba safety socket doesn't need any special preparation or change in the standard building infrastructure. The size of the Filiba safety socket is identical to the size of standard sockets and fits into the same hole in the wall. Additionally, the cost of producing the Filiba safety socket is almost identical to the cost of producing a regular socket. The Filiba safety socket carries a worldwide patent and can be used in most of the countries in Europe, Asia and the Middle East. In addition, there is a North American version of the socket. In conclusion, the Filiba safety socket is an ingenious and safe socket that enables a solution to the dangers inherent today in the standard socket without any additional significant cost.